What's up guys, Hownish here, and today I wanted to jump in and take a quick look at the new Trials weapons which have come inside of Season 2. So there are actually 4 new weapons which have been added into the rotation for Trials of the Nine. A couple of them are really good weapons. They're actually some of the more exciting weapons I think I've seen inside of Destiny 2 for a while, especially inside of Curse of Osiris, but of course that's just my opinion, but I wanted to break them down anyway because there are quite a few folks who didn't actually know that these have been updated. Before we go any further though, this video is brought to you by Gamerlink. Gamerlink is a free clan and LFG app that you'll find on Android and iOS, and Destiny 2 is indeed featured on the app, so you can use it for LFG and everything like that, for raids and trials, but Gamerlink is especially good for forming persistent teams and then kind of managing your team on the app. You can kind of build a clan and then use the chat features and everything like that, which is really neat. So it is definitely one of the more feature heavy and fleshed out LFG and clan apps that you'll find, and if you guys want to check it out, the link for it will be in the description below. So jumping into the new Trials weapons, one of the new ones we have is called Purpose, and this is a new scout rifle. It is a kinetic weapon and it's in the lightweight frame archetype, so it's 200 rounds per minute, exactly like the MIDA multi-tool. In the sights we have extended barrel, we've got small bore or fluted barrel, then we have slide shot or hipfire grip, and finally explosive payload. Projectiles create an area of effect detonation on impact. So it's pretty interesting to have a scout in this archetype also with explosive rounds. I think there are only a couple of these actually in the game. Some of these weapons will only really be demonstrating in PvE stuff, but I took this one into PvP, of course braving the Prometheus lens, which is absolutely ruining everything right now, and I have to say this scout rifle absolutely held its own. In terms of how it feels, it's pretty similar to the MIDA actually, you know, the recoil pattern and everything like that, the stability and the kick on the weapon is very manageable, so it makes landing headshots and everything like that really pretty easy. And then of course you have the added benefits of explosive payload. Explosive payload will also increase your flinch and everything like that, so you're actually going to make it harder for people you're playing against to hit you back, and of course the more flinch your weapon causes, especially in Destiny 2, the better. And outside of the fact that it's a different archetype, I would absolutely say this is on par with the Nameless Midnight, which is also of course kinetic with explosive payload. I'd probably prefer Nameless Midnight most of the time in PvE stuff, but for PvP, I think Purpose is straight up better. So it's definitely one to look out for, and of course you can get these weapons pretty much at any time during trials, so you can get them dropped from packages in the social space, you can get them by turning in tokens. The next weapon I wanted to take a look at though is incredibly exciting. So this is called Darkest Before. It is a pulse rifle in the rapid fire frame archetype, so that's 540 rounds per minute, the same as Lincoln Green and the Time-Worn Spire from the Iron Banner. The sights we have arrowhead break, we've got hammer forged rifling and small bore. In the middle column, slide shot once again, or quick draw, and then we have full auto trigger system. So this is our first full auto pulse rifle in this archetype. It is one of, I believe, like 4 legendary weapons that are actually in this archetype. But of course, with this firing full auto and being a max rate of fire pulse rifle, you know, you're getting rounds out of this weapon pretty much as quickly as you can, and these things will take people down pretty fast in the Crucible. Statistically, it's actually very much nearly identical to the Time-Worn Spire, apart from it does have slightly better recoil direction as well, and it feels really nice to use in the Crucible. It is, you know, a medium and relatively close range weapon. You don't want to be at scout rifle ranges when you fight people with this. Again, I am playing against a lot of Prometheus lenses in this gameplay, but it held its own, man. You know, it did really well. I've been running quick draw on the weapon, but of course you do have slide shots, so if you're sliding into gunfights with your primaries quite a bit, then obviously it's going to be pretty beneficial. I would prefer slide shot on auto rifles and hand cannons in particular, but this pulse just feels, you know, relatively effortless. You can just focus on actually hitting your shots. And I do personally believe this is going to be one of the best pulse rifles you'll find in PvP. It's not quite as flexible as things like Nightshade, which has a bit more range, but for me right now, this is the best pulse rifle in this rapid fire frame archetype, and rapid fire frame pulses, you know, have some of the best potential in the Crucible as well, so I think this is, you know, one of the best. So it's nice to have some weapons which feel, you know, pretty exciting right here. Next though, we have a new auto rifle. This is the Last Breath right here. It's adaptive frame, so that's 600 rounds per minute, the same as the Scathe Lock. For barrel options, we have extended barrel, full bore, and chambered compensator. Once again, we have slide shot, or the option of dynamic sway reduction, which is what I've been going for on this one. And finally, Ambitious Assassin overflows the mag based on the number of rapid kills before reloading. I don't think you see this bonus on too many auto rifles. Also gotta say a big thanks to my pal Gorsty for letting me try this weapon out. But Ambitious Assassin definitely stands out as a decent PvE bonus to me, and it's probably a better PvE bonus than it is a PvP bonus, which is interesting. You can see right here, I'm taking down a bunch of adds. The base magazine size for this weapon is 43 rounds, rounds, but with Ambitious Assassin, you can max it out up to 65 rounds right there. So you can just imagine the potential with this thing. On a Titan as well, you could run things like Axiom War Rig. Another reason I think this is probably better in PvE than PvP is just statistically in the kind of recoil that you get on the weapon. You know, you can find better auto rifles that kind of perform more solidly and feel better in the Crucible. But again, this weapon has a pretty major merit in that you have Ambitious Assassin, and it's something you don't find too many times on auto rifles, so it just gives it that kind of unique potential. The final weapon I wanted to look at is called a Cold Sweat. This is the Season 2 hand cannon. Interestingly, it's 180 rounds per minute, so it's precision frame. I believe this is actually a new archetype in this expansion, but we've got fast draw as well as crossfire and sure shot HCS. In the middle column, Slideways once again, or Outlaw, and then we have Grave Robber. Now, off the bat with this kind of hand cannon, I don't feel like they're super fantastic. They're kind of like hybridized hand cannon sidearms, you know, they're somewhere in between, fire pretty quickly. This also features the new kind of animation for hand cannons, which is much more like a sidearm. And considering you're going to have to be pretty close with this weapon, you know, it's not a long range hand cannon, definitely not as flexible as things like Better Devils. It does make Grave Robber an interesting bonus though, because, you know, you're going to be in relatively close range, kind of like you are using a sidearm. You can see it's taking a couple of shots to take down lower tier enemies right here. You do have Outlaw on the weapon though, which always feels nice in a hand cannon, you know, you get those fast reloads. So all in all, certainly an interesting weapon, but I don't think it's the most fantastic, especially for upper tier, you know, content, whether it's PvP or PvE. I'd also say it's probably the least exciting of the new Trials weapons in Season 2, but it's something to throw in the collection, even if you're not necessarily too fussed about the bonuses, if that's your thing. Once again though, Purpose, the new Scout Rifle, and the new Pulse Rifle Darkest Before are both fantastic, pretty unique weapons in my opinion. You do have the new Assault Rifle as well, an Ambitious Assassin on an Assault Rifle is pretty cool. So there we go guys, that's a breakdown of the new weapons you can find in Trials of the Nine for Season 2. I'll be curious to hear in the comments section if you've tried any of these things out or had any of them dropped yet. If you have enjoyed the video, a like is very much appreciated, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see more Destiny 2 content. For now though, thanks for watching and have an awesome day.